Hello there, and welcome to Farquhar Station. Before you can start your adventures on the island of Sodor, you will need to learn how to drive one of my engines, and I could think of none better than Thomas. In this short introduction, you will be taken through every step needed to make sure that Thomas is a really useful engine, and I'm sure you will be an expert driver in no time. Would you like to learn how to drive Thomas? Press the yes button to continue learning how to play, or if you feel you are ready, press the no button to begin exploring Sodor. You can play this introduction again at any time by choosing the introduction to Sodor. There are many locations on the railways of Sodor where lines separate or join together. These involve a network of points that set the direction the train will be travelling. On the main line, most of these points are controlled by the closest signal box. However, there are yards and junctions that require the points to be set manually. Thomas's friends Annie and Clarabel are waiting at the station platform. In order to reach Annie and Clarabel, you will first need to switch the points so that it's set to the correct track. You can set the points by climbing down out of the cab, walking over and interacting with it. Thomas and Gordon. Thomas is a tank engine who lives at the big station on the island of Sodor. He has 6 small wheels, a short stumpy funnel, a short stumpy boiler, and a short stumpy dome. He is a fussy little engine too, always pulling coaches about, getting them ready for the big engines to take on long journeys. And when trains arrive at the station, he pulls the empty coaches away so that the big engines can go and rest. Thomas thinks no engine works as hard as he does. He loves playing tricks on them, especially Gordon, the biggest and proudest engine of all. Thomas likes whistling cheekily at him. Wake up, lazy bones! Why don't you work hard like me? One morning, Thomas found it hard to wake up. His fire went out and there wasn't enough steam. It was nearly time for the express, but the coaches weren't ready. At last, Thomas started. He fussed into the station where Gordon was waiting. "Hurry up, you," said Gordon, "and bring me my coaches." "Hurry yourself," replied Thomas. "Yes," said Gordon, "I will." At last, they stopped at a station. "Well, little Thomas," chuckled Gordon, "now you know what hard work means, don't you?" Thomas was uncoupled, and he felt very silly and exhausted. Poor Thomas puffed slowly away to rest and had a long, long drink. After that, he was careful to never be cheeky to Gordon again. Thomas goes fishing.
When Thomas puffed along his branch line, he always looked forward to something special: the sight of the river. As he rumbled over the bridge, he would see people fishing. Thomas often wanted to stay and watch. One day, Thomas stopped as usual to take on water at the station by the river. "Out of order? Bother! I'm thirsty." "Never mind, Thomas," said his driver. "We'll get some water from the river." Then, while the guard telephoned for an engine inspector, the driver found a notice with large letters, which he hung on Thomas in front and behind. "Danger, keep away." Soon the inspector and Sir Topham Hatt arrived.
"Cheer up, Thomas," they said. "We'll soon put you right."
The driver told them what had happened. "So the feed pipe is blocked," said the inspector. "I'll just look in the tanks." He climbed up and peered in. Then he came down. "Excuse me, sir. Please look in the tank and tell me what you see."
"Certainly, Inspector," replied Sir Topham Hatt.
He clambered up, looked in, and nearly fell off in surprise. "Inspector," he whispered, "can you see fish?"
"Gracious goodness me! How did the fish get there, driver?"
"We must have fished them from the river with our bucket," replied Thomas's driver.
"Well, Thomas, you and your driver have been fishing. But fish don't suit you. We must get them out."
They all took turns fishing in Thomas's tank, while Sir Topham Hatt looked on and told them how to do it.
"Never mind, Thomas," said Sir Topham Hatt.
"You will be all right now.
"There's no need to worry yourself any more. But," he added, "I do hope that you and your driver won't go fishing again, as I don't think it suits engines. Do you?"
"No, sir," said Thomas sadly. "Engines shouldn't go fishing. It's too uncomfortable." Thomas and Bertie. One morning, Thomas was waiting at a junction when a red bus arrived. "Hello," said Thomas. "Who are you?" "I'm Bertie. Who are you?" "I'm Thomas. I run the branch line." "So you're Thomas, eh? I remember now. You got stuck in the snow. I took your passengers and Terence the tractor pulled you out. I've come to help you with your passengers today." "Help me?" said Thomas. "I can go faster than you." "You can't," said Bertie. "I can," huffed Thomas. "I'll race you," said Bertie. Their drivers agreed to the race going ahead. "Are you ready? 3, 2, 1, go!" "We've done it! We beat Bertie!" "Well done, Thomas," said Bertie. "That was fun, but I think we should have another race to see if I can beat you next time."
Percy's troublesome day.
Percy had a busy day ahead and was trying his best not to be late. "Mustn't be late today," he said to himself. "Sir Topham Hatt is relying on me."
"Come on, Percy.
said his fireman. Off we go. Percy arrived at Elsbridge Station and collected his passengers, but he had to wait for Bertie the bus. "Where is Bertie?" said Percy impatiently. "He's going to make me late." Just then, he heard a voice calling out, "Wait! Wait!" At last, Bertie screeched into the station. "Where have you been?" asked Percy. "I've been waiting ages for you. I thought you were supposed to be the fastest bus on Sodor." "Some road repairs were being done and I had to wait for the workmen to let me pass," explained Bertie. "Well, now I'm going to be late," Percy huffed. As soon as the guard blew his whistle, Percy raced away. He knew he had to make up for lost time. "Oh no," moaned Percy. "Now I'm sure to be late. Please move out of the way, you silly cows." "It looks like we'll have to go and move the cows ourselves," said his fireman. Percy soon arrived at Farquhar Station. He saw that the station master was waiting for him. "I'm sorry we're late," said Percy. "There were cows on the line, and Bertie was late, and—" "It's all right, Percy," smiled the station master. "It looks like you're having one of those days. Anyway, you're only a few minutes late, and the delays weren't your fault, so we'll say no more about it. Now, I've had a phone call from Sir Topham Hatt, and he wants you to collect some trucks from the quarry." "OK," puffed Percy. "We'll go right away. I just need to leave my coaches in the siding first."
Percy's troublesome day.
Oh, look who's here. It's that green caterpillar with red stripes.
"Oh, please do be quiet," Percy said sternly. "I don't have time for your tricks today."
We'll show him some tricks.
Percy arrived at the harbour just in time. Sir Topham Hatt was waiting for him.
"Well done, Percy. Right on time," he said. "I've heard you've had quite a difficult day today. But you got all your work done and once again proved what a really useful engine you are."
"Oh, thank you, sir," puffed Percy.
"As a reward for all your hard work, I'm sending you to the works for a shiny new coat of green paint."
Percy beamed with pride.
Gordon and the troublesome trucks.
Maintenance is an important part of keeping a railway running safely. Tracks need to be fixed and points must be mended to ensure the safety of people and engines. Early one morning, Sir Topham Hatt arrived at Tidmouth Sheds to make an important announcement.
Some maintenance work is being done on a section of the main line between Marron and Kelsthorpe Road. So I've decided it will be safer for all of you if we close that part of the line until the work is complete. This means that many of you will have to do different jobs,
so we can keep things running smoothly. But I'm sure you will all manage. Thomas and Emily, please look after the passengers and make sure they can still reach their destinations without confusion or delay.
Yes, sir,
replied the engines. Percy, I need you to run Thomas's branch line.
yes, sir,
He replied. Then Sir Topham Hatt turned to Gordon. And I have an important job for you too, Gordon, he said. The workmen need some supplies delivered to the work site. So whilst the other engines are busy, I will need you to deliver them. But sir, what about the express? Unfortunately, we've had to cancel all express trains whilst the work is being carried out. We can't have high-speed trains passing through an area that's being repaired. It's just not safe. Cancelled? But sir, you can't cancel the express. It's the most important service on the island, and far more important than delivering some trucks. Now, Gordon, I know how much the express means to you, but it's far more important right now that we get the line repaired as soon as we can. You can go back to pulling the express once the work has been completed. Oh, if I must. And with that, Sir Topham Hatt turned and headed off to attend to other things. What's Sir Topham Hatt thinking? Making me take dirty trucks from dirty sidings?
he's just trying to make sure that the railway keeps running smoothly and that all of the passengers can reach their destinations on time,
said Emily.
We all need to make the most of this time while repairs are being carried out. And besides, Sir Topham Hatt has given you an important job. I thought an important engine like you would appreciate that.
Goods trains are just not suitable for a grand engine like me, Gordon went on. It wouldn't be dignified. That's enough, Gordon, said his fireman. Come on now. The workmen are expecting these trucks to be delivered and we don't want to delay things any further. Oh, all right. The sooner we get this job over with, the sooner I can be back pulling the express. Gordon was still sulking when he arrived at the yard. The trucks eyed him with interest.
What's this great blue galloping sausage doing in our yard?
They shrieked.
We want a proper engine like Henry or Edward.
Stop that, called Gordon. You have got me today the fastest engine on Sodor, and I'll have no nonsense from you.
We'll give him nonsense.
They chuckled to each other. But Gordon didn't hear them. Gordon soon arrived at the worksite, and the workmen were pleased to see him. Thank you for bringing these supplies, Gordon, said a workman. Now we can finish up these repairs. You're most welcome, puffed Gordon proudly. And with that, Gordon headed back to the sheds to tell the other engines about his truck-filled day. Emily and the Express. Meanwhile at Kelsthorpe, Emily was pulling a goods train and had to stop at a signal when the station master walked up. Gordon has broken down, he told her. Can you leave your trucks here, then go and find him and pull the express?
Me pull the express? Yes, sir, she said excitedly.
And with that, Emily went off to uncouple her trucks before setting off to find Gordon. Emily arrived at the end of the line, and she'd made good time. Sir Topham Hatt was there to greet her.
Well done, Emily. How do you feel pulling an express train again?
It was great, sir, but it's certainly been a busy day.
Well, you deserve a nice long rest in the sheds.
Thank you, sir,
Beamed Emily with pride. Branching out. It was a busy time on the railway, and all of the engines were working hard. Except poor Thomas. He was feeling unwell.
You should go to the steamworks for a while, said Sir Topham Hatt.
They'll have you fixed up and feeling better in no time. As Emily came and took Thomas away to be repaired, Sir Topham Hatt wondered who else he could get to take Thomas's passengers. Suddenly, Diesel pulled into the yard with a train of trucks. Sir Topham Hatt looked at him and smiled. Ah, Diesel, just the engine I wanted to see. Diesel looked a little nervous. Sir Topham Hatt usually only wanted to see him if he was in trouble.
Good morning, sir,
said Diesel nervously.
Did you need me for something?
Yes, indeed I do, smiled Sir Topham Hatt. Thomas is not feeling well, and Emily has taken him to the steamworks to be repaired. So I need a really useful engine to help with taking the passengers on the branch line. Diesel was very surprised.
But sir, he protested, I'm only a shunting engine. I've never really pulled passengers before.
Don't worry, Diesel, Sir Topham Hatt reassured him. I'm confident you'll manage just fine, and I'm sure that Annie and Clarabel will be glad to show you what to do. Just remember, you need to be on your best behaviour today. I don't want to hear from the passengers that you've been causing trouble.
But sir, I can't take Annie and Clarabel. They're Thomas's coaches, and they don't like me, and...
Diesel, you'll be fine, smiled Sir Topham Hatt. Now run along and collect Annie and Clarabel. They should be waiting for you in the sidings.
Oh, why do I have to take passengers? Maybe, he thought, Sir Topham Hatt chose me because I am the best engine for the job. Hello, ladies. Oh no, Clarabel, it's that devious Diesel. Surely, replied Clarabel, Sir Topham Hatt could have picked another engine instead of him. Perhaps he thinks I'm the best engine for the job, boasted Diesel. After all, he specifically asked me to help with the passengers while Thomas is away. I'm sure he only asked you to help as all the other engines are busy. He certainly did not. Now we need to get going. We don't want to be late after all. Hurry up, please. We don't want to be late.
Just then, one of the passengers approached Diesel.
Thank you, Diesel, they said.
Diesel looked surprised. He wasn't sure what to say.
You're very welcome.
Wow, Someone was grateful for my help. You see, said Annie, passengers appreciate an engine who looks after them and pulls their train well. Diesel thought about this. Maybe you're right, he said. Maybe I can pull passengers after all. Diesel soon reached Farquhar, the top station of Thomas's branch line. He felt rather pleased with himself. Suddenly, he noticed Sir Topham Hatt walking towards him. I hope he's not here to tell me off, he thought. Maybe one of the passengers complained about me. But Sir Topham Hatt wasn't cross. He was smiling. Well done, Diesel, he said proudly. I've heard from some of your passengers that you did a good job today. Thank you, sir, said Diesel. But I did have some help. Thomas is still being repaired, so I'll need you to stay and help out for a few more days, explained Sir Topham Hatt. Do you mind? Not at all, sir, said Diesel happily. I'm sure that the three of us can run the branch line just fine. Annie and Clarabelle smiled. Perhaps they thought Diesel wasn't so devious after all. Shunting Showdown. One morning, Thomas was shunting trucks in the yard when Diesel arrived. Oh, look, it's that little blue tank engine getting in the way. You really need to learn how to shunt trucks properly, Thomas. And I doubt you are as good at shunting as me, the best shunter on Sodor. Not only am I as good as you, huffed Thomas, I'm better. No, you're not. Yes, I am. Not. Am. Just then, Emily arrived with some trucks and overheard the two engines arguing. What's going on here? Diesel was being rude and was claiming he was the best shunter on Sodor, said Thomas. But I am the best shunter, interrupted Diesel. Tell you what, if you want to see who's truly the best, then perhaps we should have a competition to see which engine is the better shunter. That sounds like a great idea. What do you think, Thomas? OK, Diesel, said Thomas. What are the rules? The first engine to get their line of trucks shunted into the correct order will be the winner. Sounds good to me. Let's get started. And the winner is Thomas! Congratulations! Hooray, we did it! See, Diesel? Steam engines are the best at shunting. How did you beat me? Well done, Thomas. I suppose you won this time. Next time, you won't be so lucky. Leaves. One morning, two men were cleaning Gordon after he had acted rather foolishly and ended up rolling off the turntable and into a muddy ditch. Mind my eyes, grumbled Gordon. Have you ever seen so much mud? Said one of the cleaners. No, I haven't, said the other. You ought to be ashamed, Gordon, letting yourself get so dirty. Bah, thought Gordon.
I don't have time to worry about my appearance like some engines do.
The hosing and scrubbing suddenly stopped. Gordon opened his eyes, but quickly closed them again when he saw who was standing in front of him.
Wake up, Gordon, said Sir Topham Hatt, and listen to me. Given your recent behaviour, I've decided that you will pull no more coaches until you prove to me that you can be a really useful engine. Perhaps pulling trucks for a while will teach you a lesson. Yes, sir, said Gordon quietly.
So Gordon had to spend his time pulling and pushing trucks.
Goods trains, he muttered. Oh, the shame of it.
And he bumped the trucks again. Oh, cried the trucks as he shunted them around the yard. James was standing nearby watching him.
Trucks will be trucks, he said.
They won't with me, grunted Gordon. I'll teach them. They tried to push me down the hill this morning, he explained. It's slippery there, so you'll probably need help.
I don't need help on hills,
huffed James. Gordon laughed and headed off to get ready for his next goods train.
Come on, James, said his driver. It's almost time for the express.
And with that, James puffed away to collect his waiting coaches. James soon arrived at the next station. He was feeling very pleased with himself, but he kept thinking about what Gordon had said. I'll show Gordon who needs help on hills, he said to himself. But soon, James reached the bottom of the hill. Strong winds from the sea made the hill hard to climb. Leaves fallen from the nearby trees were now covering the rails, and the recent rainfall meant that they were too heavy to be blown away by the wind. I'll do it, he puffed. But his wheels slipped on the leaves. I must do it, he panted. But try as he might, his wheels kept on slipping, and he couldn't pull the train at all. Help, help, cried James. His wheels were turning forwards, but the heavy coaches pulled him backwards, and soon the whole train started slipping down the hill. James's driver applied the brakes, then going carefully reversed the train back down the hill, and they headed back to the station. When they arrived, they found Gordon waiting, who had seen everything. I thought you said you could climb hills, he chuckled. James didn't answer. He had no steam left to say anything. Ah, well, we live and learn, said Gordon. Never mind, little James. I'm going to push from behind. Whistle when you're ready. I'm ready, called James. So am I, replied Gordon. Pull hard. We'll do it, puffed James. And it wasn't long before they arrived. Thank you, Gordon, whistled James. Gordon whistled goodbye as he watched James puff away. Then slowly he trundled back to his waiting trucks. Jack Frost. One evening, Sir Topham Hatt came to the sheds. "There's a big freeze coming tonight," he said. "James and Percy, I need you to deliver extra coal to the stations."
Yes, sir,
they said eagerly, and Sir Topham Hatt walked away. "You better hurry," teased Thomas, "or Scary Jack Frost might get you." "Who's Jack Frost?" Percy said nervously. "Don't be silly," sniffed James. "Jack Frost is not scary." "Yes, he is," teased Thomas. "He's all white with a big spiky face." "Rubbish," said James. James knew Jack Frost wasn't scary, but poor Percy wasn't so sure. Later that night, James had collected his coal trucks and set off to make his deliveries. "Silly Percy," he thought. "All steamed up over Jack Frost. The sooner we get this coal delivered, the sooner I can get back to my nice warm shed." Meanwhile, Percy was making his last delivery.
Jack Frost is not scary. Jack Frost is not scary. Jack Frost is not scary.
Percy soon made his last delivery. The station master was very pleased to see him. "Percy," he cried, "we need twice as much coal to last through this freeze." "Don't worry," Percy said. "This is my last stop. You can have mine. My lovely warm firebox will keep me nice and cosy." So Percy's driver parked him on a siding with only a lantern for company. "Do you think Scary Jack Frost will find me?" said Percy. "Jack Frost is not scary," chuckled his driver. "And don't worry, Emily will bring you some more coal in the morning." And then his driver and fireman went home to bed. Late that night, the icy wind howled. It started to snow, and Percy's fire had almost gone out. Soon Percy's face was so cold, an icicle hung from his nose. "Oh, bother," stuttered Percy. But it didn't sound like Percy. It was so cold, he could hardly make a sound. The next morning, Emily arrived with plenty of coal for Percy. "Oh my," she said. "It looks like Jack Frost really got you then." Soon Percy was loaded with fresh coal, and his fire was soon burning nicely. It wasn't long before his ice mask melted away. "So Scary Jack Frost is only frost," puffed Percy happily, and soon he was as warm as toast. James and the Van. It was a frosty morning on the island of Sodor, and James was bringing a goods train from the Little Western. He was cold and tired, and wouldn't stop complaining. "Why couldn't Duck or Oliver do this?" he moaned. "A splendid engine like me should be pulling coaches, not these troublesome trucks." "Don't worry, James," said his fireman. "We've nearly reached the yard now, so you can have a drink and a rest before your next train." "Good," James replied. "A nice long rest will make me feel much better." Soon they arrived back at the yard. James was still feeling rather upset, and as he stood in the yard, the icy wind swirled around his smokebox. "Bother this cold weather," he shivered. "Right," said his fireman. "I'll jump down and uncouple the trucks. Then we can go and fetch the coaches." He walked over to the coupling and tried to uncouple it, but try as he might, it would not budge. "What's going on back there?" asked James. "I'm going to be late for my passengers." "There seems to be a problem with the coupling," said his fireman at last. "It looks like we're going to have to take the van with us." "What?" exclaimed James. "Pull my train and this horrible van too? No, I won't. What would the other engines think if they found out?" "Great," grumbled the van. "Now I'm stuck behind you for the rest of the day." "Now come on," soothed his fireman. "We must remember the passengers. We can't leave them standing out in the cold." "Fine," groaned James. "The sooner we take these passengers, the sooner I can get to the works and get my coupling fixed." James arrived at the platform, still cold and upset. As he watched the passengers begin to board the train, he was surprised to see that the passengers didn't take much notice of the van. "That's good," he thought to himself. "Maybe if the passengers don't notice, then maybe none of the other engines will." As James arrived at the station, he suddenly heard a familiar whistle. "Oh no," said James. "It's Gordon."
Hello, little James. What are you doing coupled to that van? Asked Gordon. Oh, is that what passes as a special coach nowadays?
Gordon puffed away, still laughing. James tried to ignore him, and it wasn't long before the guard's whistle blew and they continued on their way. James soon arrived at Wellsworth Station. As the passengers began to board, he suddenly noticed the station master talking to someone with a large wooden box. "I'm sorry, but you can't bring this on the train," said the station master. "There isn't enough space. You'll need to wait for the mail train later tonight." "But I'm performing in an important concert," explained the passenger, "and I must get myself and my piano there on time." James listened carefully, and suddenly an idea came to him. "Excuse me," he called, "but you could try putting your piano into my van. I'm sure it would fit, and it would mean you could get to your concert on time." The passenger was delighted. "That's a wonderful idea, James," said the passenger. "What a clever engine you are." James felt rather pleased with himself. "This piano is heavy," moaned the van. "Why did we have to take it?" "Do stop your complaining," puffed James. "All this fuss over one wooden box." "The piano is loaded now, so it's almost time for us to get going," said James to the passenger. So the passenger hurried quickly to their carriage, and moments later the guard blew his whistle, and James knew it was time to leave. At the next station, Sir Topham Hatt was waiting for James to arrive. He was surprised to see a goods van in front of his coaches. He was just about to ask him about it when the owner of the piano came over to see him. "This clever engine and his crew came to my rescue," he explained. "They helped me to transport my piano in time for my band's concert tonight. And James offered to help. You must be very proud of him."
Indeed I am, smiled Sir Topham Hatt. James, your quick thinking has helped a passenger in need. and you've once again proven yourself to be a really useful engine.
Thank you, sir,
puffed James proudly.
Hey, what about me? Cried the van. I had to carry the piano.
Sir Topham Hatt turned his attention to the van. I hear you helped one of my passengers today, he said. So I must thank you as well. You are a very useful van indeed, and you've even given me an idea. Perhaps we should consider adding vans to all our passenger trains in future.
I think that's a good idea, sir, said James. Getting stuck to a goods van wasn't such a bad thing after all.
The van was pleased, but a little embarrassed.
He wasn't used to getting praise like this, and was looking forward
to his next passenger train. First class engine. Early one morning, Percy arrived back at Tidmouth Sheds, very tired.
Morning, Percy, said Thomas. You do look tired. Yes, I am, said Percy sleepily. I was up all night delivering the mail. It seems like there are more letters and parcels than ever.
Heh, scoffed James.
You're only a little engine. No wonder you struggle to manage those heavy vans. Perhaps Sir Topham Hatt should give the job to another engine, or even Harold. I'm sure they could manage the work. I can manage fine on my own, thank you, said Percy firmly.
Perhaps, said a voice, you could do with a little help, Percy. It was Sir Topham Hatt, who had just arrived and had heard everything. James, you think another engine should help take the mail. I think that's a very good idea, and I'm sure Percy wouldn't mind the lighter workload for a while.
Percy was pleased,
and James looked smug. That was until Sir Topham Hatt continued. I'm assigning both you and Percy to tonight's mail run. You can help him collect all the letters and parcels that need to go to the mainland. James was horrified.
But sir, he protested, I'm supposed to be taking the express in the morning, and I can't do that if I've been busy all night pulling the mail train.
I'm sure Emily wouldn't mind taking the express in your place, James, replied Sir Topham Hatt. Now the decision is final, so I'll hear no more about it. And Sir Topham Hatt turned and walked away. Later that night, James and Percy had collected their mail vans and were waiting for them to be loaded at Knapford Station. Percy was trying to explain to James what he had to do, but James was taking no notice.
James, you must remember to collect all the bags of mail at each station, explained Percy. Sometimes the mail will arrive by road, so you have to be patient and wait for the van to arrive and be loaded into your train before you leave. But James was too busy thinking about getting back to his shed and waking up to pull the morning express. Just then, the car's whistle blew and the two engines set off. Good luck, James, said Percy. I'll manage fine, thank you, James grumbled. Silly Percy, thinking I can't manage a few bags of mail. It can't be that difficult.
Hello, James, said the station master. Some of the mail arriving by road has been delayed, so you'll need to wait for it to arrive. In the meantime, here is the rest of the mail for you.
Bother,
muttered James.
This is sure to make me late now.
As James arrived at Marron Station, the station master ran up to him looking rather upset.
"James," he said, "I've had a phone call from the station master at Wellsworth, and he tells me that you didn't wait for the mail to arrive by road." James felt foolish. "Now," continued the station master, "we have arranged for the mail to be brought here. So please can you wait for it to arrive? It's vital that this important mail reaches its destination on time." This time, James listened carefully, and suddenly an idea came to him.
If I deliver all the important mail, he thought, then I'm sure that Sir Topham Hatt will say I'm really useful. Maybe even more useful than Percy.
"Don't worry, sir," said James to the station master.
"I promise I'll wait for the mail to arrive and make sure it gets to the mainland in time."
"That's a good engine," smiled the station master. "The mail won't be long now, so you'll soon be on your way again." So James waited for the mail to arrive. He didn't have to wait long. He heard a car horn coming from nearby, and then watched as a red post van pulled into the station car park. James arrived at Vickerstown Station and was feeling pleased with himself. He had collected all the mail and tried his best to make up for lost time. Percy was already there waiting for him, and so was Sir Topham Hatt. James was worried what he would say about him not being patient and waiting for the mail. "Ah, there you are, James," said Sir Topham Hatt. "I've heard from several of the station masters that you've done a good night's work," Sir Topham Hatt smiled. "I've also heard that there was a small incident at Wellsworth Station," he added. "But you put things right and have made sure that all the mail arrived on time. You have once again proved to me that you are a really useful engine, and a first-class one at that."
"Well done, James," puffed Percy excitedly.
James felt so proud he thought his boiler would burst.
"Hello, driver. Climb on board and we can get started."
Follow the markers in front of you, as they will guide you to Thomas's cab steps. Before you can climb the steps, you will need to check if the cab door is open. If you can see that the cab door is closed, you can open it by first looking at it and then pressing the button shown on the screen. Now that Thomas's cab door is open, you can use the steps to climb up into the cab. This is Thomas's cab. Here you will learn the controls needed to drive Thomas. Let's get started by first moving over to the driving position. If you want a better view of your train or the line ahead, you can change between inside and outside camera views at any time while driving. For now, use the controls shown on screen to change to the outside camera. You can change between this view and the inside cab view at any time by pressing either of the controls shown here. You can also change the points on the map, which can be accessed by pressing the key shown now. Excellent work so far. The junction is now correctly set. So it is time to move Thomas out of the siding and over to Annie and Clarabelle. To move Thomas forward, press Press and hold the button shown now on the screen to increase the throttle. Well done. You're doing a good job so far. To slow Thomas down, press and hold the button shown to begin applying the brakes. As you can see, the throttle has returned to 0. This means that Thomas is now ready to travel in either forward or reverse. To make Thomas reverse, tap the control shown on screen until the direction arrow on the HUD points down. Remember to slow down when approaching Annie and Clarabelle. You should be going at no more than 5 miles per hour when attempting to couple to coaching stock and troublesome trucks.
Hello, Annie. Hello, Clarabelle.
Hello, Thomas. To allow passengers to climb aboard, you will first need to open the passenger doors using the controls shown on the screen. There are other cameras available to use during your adventures on Sodor. Let's look at another one now. Using the button shown on screen, change to the free camera. You are now using the free camera. With this camera, you can freely fly around to wherever you'd like. You are still able to fully control your train whilst using this camera, and it's very useful for getting a good look at your surroundings. Move the camera around so it is looking at Thomas. Now move the camera so that it... Now return to the inside camera view using the button shown here.
Remember, you can drive Thomas from both the inside cab view and the outside camera you were shown earlier.
Good job. It looks like everyone has boarded now. You can go ahead and close the passenger doors using the controls shown here. You've got a green signal, so you're ready to continue to the next station. Increase the throttle once again to move Thomas forward. Remember to slow down as you approach a station you want to stop at, so that you come to a safe stop. Good work. Now open the passenger doors to allow the passengers to start boarding. Splendid job. It looks like you and Thomas make a great team, and I'm certain you will be an expert driver in no time.
You're a great driver. I can't wait to start our adventures together.
Just one more stop to make. Then we are finished for the night.